The audio is good. Great. Yeah, welcome back to my stream. Today is Thursday already. Wow. I had like a week. I mean, this whole week for me is actually a week off. And yeah, it just went by really, really quickly. That's like I think 1 week is not enough to rest properly. But unfortunately, I don't have a choice. I have to work the other time. Although in August, of course, as usual, I am planning to take a 3 week vacation. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be here, but just it's gonna be nice to have like 3 weeks of, just uninterrupted rest, pretty much. Looking forward to that. The other thing, like in August, it's really, really hot and disgusting outside, especially in August. I mean, July is bad too, and September is pretty awful as well. But like August is just the worst in Japan. And yeah, it just makes sense to take time off during that time, because you don't want to do anything anyway. Let's be honest there. When it's so hot, it's just insane. All right. Was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh, yeah. So I watched a kind of funny thing the other day. The video was about people who are nostalgic. And this is kind of interesting to me because, like, for me, for example, when I say I'm nostalgic, okay, I feel like nostalgia. I'm really talking about kind of the 80s. Well, 90s, maybe some movies from the 90s, but not like the music, okay? Definitely like the 80s, more for music and movies as well. And that's like I'm 40 years old now, okay? So that makes kind of sense that I'm nostalgic about a time like long time ago. But apparently young people these days, because they're trying to be like so cool and, you know, stuff like that, they are nostalgic about music from the 2010s. Yeah. Uh, so these are people I can't imagine how old they were during the 2010s. They must have been like under 10 for sure. So I don't understand also what they feel nostalgic about. I mean, the music 10 years ago was exactly the same as 20 years ago or 5 years ago. Okay, 5 years ago was still the last decade, but you get the idea. Look, in my opinion, like as far as music is concerned, as soon as like kind of the 90s started, we had the kind of avalanche of pop music, right? Uh, all of it pretty much the same. The faces change, yes, but the content of the songs is exactly the same, okay? And that's why, like in the 90s, I got completely sick of pop music. I was like, okay, because I realized what it is. I realized what it is. It's the same crap repeated, recycled over and over again. And that's why I decided to switch more towards rock and metal as well, because some of the metal songs, especially I was listening in the early 2000s, was really stuff that I've never heard before in any pop song, really. It was kind of like this deep exploration about the inner self, depression sometimes. Depression is not really addressed in pop music. Come on. It's not. Pop music is happy. It's for like those kind of happy, positive people. Yeah. So that for me was really kind of like my awakening in my late teens. I realized that, okay, so yeah, there is kind of this majority, like the mob, okay, they like this type of happy, empty, shallow pop music. But actually, there is a kind of a smaller, granted, but there is still a community out there that makes songs about kind of depression and self exploration and trying to understand yourself, etc., etc. And of course, I connected much more with that. And yeah, I never looked back since. Yeah, I think you can't go back to pop after that. It's just impossible. Why would I? lose brain cells listening to pop music now? I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I don't know. Tell me what you think about music these days. Is it I mean, what kind of music do you listen to? Is it for you just like a kind of background noise, or do you want something more out of it? Because for me, definitely, I want something more out of it. I want like to not just to sing along, although that's fun too, but I really want something that makes me think about stuff, something that has meaning, not just these empty, shallow songs that you forget the next day. Because look, guys, trust me, a lot of these kind of hits, okay, those pop hits in the past like 20, 25 years, nobody remembers them. It's been forgotten already. It's always about kind of the next thing now. I've noticed that, like, with especially young people these days, they always kind of latch on to the next thing, whatever it is, and even if something just came out a few weeks ago, that just becomes completely forgotten. But look, that's because those songs are instantly forgettable. There's nothing, like, there's really nothing there. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing there to connect to. It's just something there. It's just a tune for the moment, and after that moment has passed, everybody moves on to the next new thing, and that's it. And that's not what songs are. That's not what good songs are for me, I should say. Like, good songs, I don't care if it's 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years later. Uh, if it comes on, I'm still listening to it, because it has like a message, it has meaning. Of course, yeah, I have certain preferences when it comes to singers, etc. Sure, but for me, like, the content is very, very important.